Yeah. We back. Yes. We back. We back. We back. Yeah. Thank y'all for the support. We back like we never left, man. Gang, gang. And we back. Just wait on it. We gonna get to it. Trust me, I never leave you guys hanging. We gonna get to the actual factuals. Ah man, you know AB about boxing. We gonna talk about it. Man, hit the like button. Y'all don't stop playing. Let's get it. Stop playing. Let's get it. Let's talk boxing. Let's get it. Yeah, no, you know what I'm saying? Gotta get my DMX on. We got one of my moderators in the building. Hopefully, somebody else shows up. Listen. If you're new to my streams, which maybe some of you guys are, because this is a post-fight, so it's a little bit different. I like to know where you guys are from. I want to see where we're represented, know that we're worldwide. So just let me know where you're from. Where you're from, city, state, zip. Drop that in the comment section. And when I say Boxingego roll call, that's all you need to do. Boxingego roll call, where y'all at? New Orleans in the building. California, North Hollywood, Lancaster, Texas, Canada, Jersey, Michigan, Bad News, Chicago, Houston, Austin, Texas, Waco. Texas is up in this thing. Or as we say in the Bay, we in this thing, bruh. The town, California. West London up in it. Fontana, California. DC in the building. El Paso, Texas. Sacktown. San Bernardino. La Mirada. Costa Rica. Baltimore, Dominican Republic. Shout out to the DR. Houston. Idaho Falls. Oceanside. H-Town, Arizona. Tacoma, Screwston, Texas, Compton, Chi-Town, Jalisco, LD, what does that say? Bad News. Oh, Bad News, Virginia. We know that. Screwston, Seatown, Fontana, Guadalajara, Mexico, North Baton Rouge, Tennessee. Yes, sir. Queens, New York, Baltimore. No Brooklyn. We just watched two Brooklyn fighters on the card. We ain't got no one from Brooklyn, Oakland, H-Town. They might be at the fights. I'll give them the credit for that. They might be at the fight. Seattle, El Cuco, Bradford, England, Nebraska, Omaha, Brooklyn. There's a Brooklyn. Okay. What up? Kansas City, Colorado. What up? BK, what up? Bompton, Crenshaw. My brother from Crenshaw Mafia, he's gonna shoot you in the face. Listen, let's talk some boxing. We'll do another roll call at the end. Before I give my thoughts, like I normally do, we got the roll call out of the way. We letting people join. Shout out to the winners. Arthur Beterbiev, Jose Ramirez, who else fought? Gerald Big Baby Miller, and Daniel Jacobs. That's most of the fights that I was watching. So shout out to the winner's circle. I see y'all. Y'all want to talk about Jacobs Arias? Y'all want to talk about that or Gerald Big Baby Miller? That's the fight that I watched pretty much start to finish. The other ESPN card, shout out to Top Rank in Fresno. I'm kind of glad I didn't go. Fresno's 3 hours away from here, but I'm glad I stayed, to be honest. But I was flipping through the channels going back and forth, you know what I mean? Y'all want Big Baby? Big Baby, his fight ended, what round was it? 10 maybe? It Marish Weck He was unable to continue. He had a nagging hand injury. Maybe he broke his hand, fractured it. Wasn't able to continue. Was getting outworked. It was in the ninth. Thank you guys. See, real boxing fans, we help each other out. Shout out to my dude Gerald Big Baby Miller. He was the fight the way it was. The first round was like a filler round to me. The second round it started to open up. So I'm like, okay, this is getting good. They were both throwing punches. I tweeted this. A lot of the guys, the Eastern European guys, people from that region, they don't throw body shots. They don't throw that many body shots. They don't throw sharp, short hooks. Like, bam. So he was landing punches, but a lot of them were straight. I like Gerald Big Baby Miller. He was releasing hooks. Like when he started like second round and beyond, he was doing them war cry noises. And he was working them to the body. Why did Big Baby look sloppy? I didn't see that. I didn't think he looked sloppy. Some of y'all don't know shit about boxing, but shout out to y'all if y'all boxing fans. Some of y'all really, because I can't wait to talk about this Jacobs Arias fight, because some of y'all really don't know shit about boxing. Because trust me, I have popular boxing platforms, Twitter, Instagram, and all that stuff, right? And I see what y'all tweet me and what y'all put in the comment sections, right? Lomachenko thrashes Rigondeaux. And we're talking about post fights that actually happened today, not future fights. So that's great. But anyway, back to Gerald Big Baby Miller. He's just activity level. And then you've seen Marius Weck started to wilt. You know, it's real weird. Like, shout out to Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury is the only person that I could think of that has that type of like weird, awkward, very big, 6'9", never really looks in crazy shape type of never really has that type of, you know what I mean, like you wouldn't even tell he's a professional athlete, but he boxes very well. Do you know what I'm saying? Marius Weck, even he looked like mad. He looked like Lurch or something. Like he just looked like hunched over and like sluggish and like slothy. I don't even think that's a word, but I'm gonna make up some words like E40. I'm from the Bay. We just make up words when we can't think of one. So he was game. He showed heart. His hand after the fifth round or so really started to bother him, where it got to the point where he stopped even throwing it, and then he was just getting outworked, quicked, outwitted, and the activity was just too much for Gerald Big Baby Miller. Yeah, I told you make up words, slothy. That's what he looked. He just looked like it's weird. Like his posture should just look like he has MS or some shit. Like it doesn't. It looks weird to me. I don't know. A lot of times I think like fighters that are athletic and have good posture and stuff. To me, their work looks cleaner. Like even like Canelo. Like Canelo, when he's throwing punches, his shit look clean as hell. Marius Weck looks like slow and like slothy to me. Like I don't know. It's just so. Anyway, shout out to Tyson, because Tyson Fury to me is one of the extremely big men heavyweights, right? That he don't look like that. You know what I'm saying? He don't look all like super hunched over. He looks like he has some good. Like watch his rematch with Derek Chisora. Watch his fight with what's his name? The Klitschko fight. You know what I'm saying? Watch those fights. He has good movement. He moves well for a big man, and I respect. Even Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz looks out of shape when I see him in the fights, but he's still athletic. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I prefer. Like just guys that even if you don't look the part, you're still. I mean, fucking even Butterbean to me looked, for his size, you know what I'm saying? He looked all right with it. But Gerald Big Baby Miller clearly was winning, and I'm actually glad they stopped it, because it helped us usher in the main event. You know what I'm saying? They got the main event on quicker, and it was very apparent. So congrats again to Gerald Big Baby Miller. I thought he did his thing. I kind of expected a little bit more power. I expected a little bit more power from Big Baby Miller, but I mean, he fought the fight he always does, like against Gerald Washington, Fred Cassie. I mean, see, this is the thing. I will say this is, I'm saying maybe I expected more power. He was in there with a motherfucker who's I think he's really 6'8", and they said he was 6'7", but I think he's 6'8", and he's like 260. So, you know what I mean? It's possible just the size alone was what created that. Like, you know what I mean? If Mariusz Weck was like Mike Perez size and he was getting hit with all that, then maybe he, you know what I'm saying? Maybe he would have crumbled. So I can't really fault that. But him and Anthony Joshua, I could see that. Listen, this is what I could see. This is just my opinion. This is my opinion. I could see Eddie Hearn. Bottom line is this. In my honest opinion, I don't think Joshua Wilder will be next. Now, I'll give Eddie Hearn and the Team Joshua and all that, I'll give them a benefit of doubt. They said in 2018. But in boxing, we've heard that before because Team Canelo said 2016 for the Golovkin fight, and we didn't get to see it until 2017. So, whatever. I can't prove it now. So we're going to wait and see, be patient, see what happens. So this is what I see happening next. I think they had the first meeting with Shelly Finkel, Al Heyman, and Eddie Hearn, who's now promoting Gerald Big Baby Miller. He also promotes Anthony Joshua. Coming off of that performance where Big Baby Miller did his thing, but even Roy Jones was pointing out, like, he would like dip his head to the right, which he could get caught. The fact that Miller didn't knock down Mariusz Weck or stop him like Povetkin did, right? I could see Eddie Hearn wanting to make that fight for Joshua because Miller looks the Miller. I mean, Miller's my dude. You know what I'm saying? I know him. Cool cat, but I'm saying from a promoter standpoint, to me, I think Eddie Hearn knows his cash cow is Anthony Joshua. So to him, he just acquired. And the other thing is, I'm not trying to make it like a regional thing, but Miller's a USA fighter, and Eddie Hearn's a UK-based promoter, and he has a UK-based Anthony Joshua, who's a superstar over there, or a big star or whatever, and he's the cash cow making him the most money. So I can see Eddie Hearn giving Gerald Big Baby Miller the opportunity because he probably feels that AJ has a strong chance against Miller in terms of just experience and shit like that, and the power advantage. So we'll see. I can see that happening next, and Wilder possibly fighting Dillian White. And then if they both emerge as winners, then maybe get Joshua Wilder. I think, honestly, Wilder versus Miller, I don't see that happening next. Okay, put it this way. If you're Miller, I don't even want to talk about Wilder Miller because I don't think it'll happen. Two, if you're Miller and you just signed to Eddie Hearn, who promotes Joshua, and Joshua, everyone's saying Joshua is the bigger name and he's the A side, so usually bigger name creates a bigger purse. Why people want to fight Floyd and Pacquiao and stuff like that. So I really see Miller fighting against Joshua more. If he's gonna get a champion shot, I see him fighting against either Joshua or Joseph Parker over Wilder. That's my honest opinion. But shout out to Gerald Big Baby Miller. He did his thing. He was in there with a guy who went the distance with Klitschko. And to see, that's the other thing. Klitschko can crack, and he went the distance. So, I mean, you can't really take too much because Miller, who doesn't even have Klitschko's experience, because he stopped him, but he didn't stop him in the conventional, like what Wilder did to Bermane Stiverne. So who knows? But like I said, Miller did what he was supposed to do. And let's talk about the main event. Main event, wow. Listen, if you don't know shit about boxing, and we can probably do a hot seat and all that, but if you don't know shit about boxing, you're probably not going to enjoy this channel. Just a little disclaimer. I thought Daniel Jacobs won every single round. I thought he pitched a shutout. I thought Daniel Jacobs fought an educated fight with bad intentions, and he did everything you could really expect from him to do, coming off a loss to Golovkin. I mean, he fought a good fight. Now, I see people already making excuses and saying, oh, this shit was boring, and why didn't he stop him? Listen, It doesn't work like that. You're not gonna stop everyone, and we're gonna get to it. See, Ego Fight Club, Ego Durden did a video about this particular fight, and I let you know who I was picking. I told you I was picking Jacobs via decision. I said in that video, if I'm not mistaken, that I believe Luis Cuba Arias is tough. I think he has a chin, so I would pick him. But one of my main points, if you listen to the video, for my real Ego Army, real fans that watch, and we could probably play some, I have it pulled up. I told you experience. Luis Cuba Arias at this level has less experience. The motherfucker Jacobs just fought Golovkin. Golovkin is right now, to this day, considered the best middleweight, and he went the distance. That's distance, you know what I mean? That's just like when these young cats get to spar Floyd Mayweather. You know what I mean? That's experience. Golovkin, a damn good fighter. Golovkin has power, and you just went 12 with the man. He's a silver medalist. He's well promoted. He's confident. He had knocked out 23 people in a row, and Jacobs is coming off that. Luis Cuba Arias, I told y'all. To me, cool dude, interviewed him before, but he simply did not have a name that really popped out, nor from the fights I've seen did I see him just jumping up in class this big and knocking out Jake. Hold on. If you a real Ego Army, like meaning you watch my live streams, you subscribe to the channel, you press the notification bell, put Ego Army in the comment section, because I got a question for y'all. If y'all fuck with the movement, you fuck with the channel, and you Ego Army, just put Ego Army. Because before I ask the question, I need to see who's in the building right now. Since if you fuck with Ego Army and new media, just put that, bang that shit, rep it, gang. If you gang, put gang in the comment section. All right, now, so I see enough of Ego Army in the thing. Now, if you're Ego Army, then that means you watch the content. So I got a question for y'all. All y'all putting Ego Army, I got a question for y'all. My question is, where the fuck is the dude that wanted to bet me? I just forgot about that. Where's the dude that said he bet me that Luis Cuba Arias would knock out Daniel Jacobs? And I said on live stream, I'm like, Cuba Arias is tough. I've watched his fights, but I can't see that. I can't see him knocking out Jacobs. And he was like, I sparred with him. He's tough. He got a hell of a chin. And he said he was going to knock out Danny Jacobs. And I was like, man, I said, more power to him. If he can knock out Daniel Jacobs, then I'll give him all the credit in the world. But I just don't see that. And he said, oh, I'll bet you. And I said, nah, normally I don't like to bet fans and stuff. You know what I mean? I might not get my money. Where's that dude at? He said he bet me $40. And he's like, no, man, I'm going to pay you. Where's my 40? Run me my money. Where my 40 at? And then I was like, you sure you want to bet? You weren't just betting that Luis Cuba Arias would win. You bet that he would knock out Jacobs. And I told you, I was like, remember, I specifically said on that live stream, for all the people that just put Ego Army and that was repping that Ego Army, all them people, I told you, I'm like, Luis Cuba Arias, he's undefeated. He seems good. I watched him fight. But I'm like, I haven't seen necessarily elite level power. And then remember the dude was wilding. He said that Luis Cuba Arias could beat Charlo and Triple G and all types of stuff. And I'm like, really? You're that confident? And he's like, watch, Saturday. Run me my money, man. Where my 40 at? See, this is why it doesn't even make sense with this internet shit. Now this is why I didn't want to do it, because I told y'all, and like I said, if you Ego Army, then you'll know the whole live stream, you watched it live, you watched the replay, and you'll know what I'm talking about. This is why I didn't want to do it, because I'm a legit person. So if Luis Cuba Arias knocked out Jacobs, I swear I would pay that. $40, I spend that on food and dinner dates and shit like that. I spend over that. You know what I'm saying? I spend on drinks or some shit. So, you know what I mean? This is why I don't want to do it. I would have legit paid, and then this dude, this clown, talking all that crazy, and I'm like, what? And then he was like, yeah. And then now he's fucking nowhere to be found. But if Luis Arias would have won, I would have been out of $40 because I'm a man of my word. Run me my super chat. Run me my 40, man. See? New media, man. But anyway, this is what I'm talking about. Listen to what people say then and now. Everything I said before the fight, I said then. Now, trust me, I know if I get a prediction wrong, y'all gonna be jumping up for joy and say, oh yeah, you were wrong. I don't care. It's not just about that, because it's about just talking boxing. And until you guys can name one person that is 100% accurate on all predictions, then it don't really affect me. Just check the track record, man. Just check the track record and check the bank statements. That's all that really matters. You know what I mean? And like I said, I get some wrong here and there, but what I say in general, by and large, is more accurate than it is totally way off. And I said that. I was like, I don't see Arias knocking out Jacobs. Yeah, and I even said, I remember I said specifically, I'm like, Triple G, 350 Emmys. He's one of the top 3 middleweight punchers. And I said one because, in my personal opinion, I think David Lemieux per capita has more power than him. I think Charlo might have more power, about the same. I don't know, because we haven't really seen Charlo enough there. But he's definitely one of the top. He's considered the number one middleweight. And I'm like, if he didn't knock him out, and Peter Quillen didn't knock out, how's Luis Cuba Arias? What is he gonna do? Like, because it's not even just about power, because, you know what I mean, Kendall Holt might have more power than Lucas Matisse, but Lucas Matisse might be able to get off his power differently. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So it's not just about that, but Golovkin can box. Golovkin got a good jab. Golovkin is about the same height probably as Arias, maybe even taller. Yeah, man, where's that dude with the super chat? See what I'm talking about? See what I go through? Anyway, let me continue breaking down the fight. Yeah, man. Whole lot of fronters. And they're going to switch their username and never show back up in the stream because they took a bet. Oh, I'll pay you your money. So I don't do shit like that, man. Yeah, y'all got it popping on my Twitter. Look. We got 162 notifications. Damn. What you got on my 40, homie? Yeah, but listen, let me continue breaking down the fight, because I know this dude probably deleted his account, not gonna be here. I even talk. I'm gonna show you some of my tweets. See, this is the thing. This was real about me and my channel. How I do shit is a lot of times with these big fights, I do round by round tweets, so you know it's not like I'm doing it live in the flesh. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing it live in the flesh. I'm not waiting until other people formulate opinions. I can't go back and timestamp past, you know what I mean, past tweets and stuff. So you already know, like, this is authentic. You know what I mean? Because you can see the timestamps, and if you follow me on Twitter, you'll see that these were all in real time. Now hit the like button, and then we're gonna break down this Jacobs Arias fight. And I told you another thing I said, if you guys really fuck with the movement, Eagles Army, I told you not every single person, but a recent trend, the people who have talked the most in combat fighting sports, the people, Death Row East, we out there, believe in that. I told y'all, believe in Death Row East, and hit that like button, believe in that. It's a personification. But I noticed a pattern very recently. Everybody who did, like, and I like trash talk, don't get it twisted, but everybody who has done a lot of recent trash talking, it's like they've come up drastically short from what they've said. I mean, we've seen it with, obviously, Bermain Stavern. He was like, basically, I'll kill you in the ring if that's what it takes to get this belt back. I've never felt this good, and what y'all gonna do? Y'all ain't gonna do nothing. I'll see you on Saturday, you know what I'm saying? And then he got, like, that was like one of the worst knockouts this year from Deontay Wilder. You look at Erickson Lubin, he called Charlo a paper champion. He said he ain't fought no one but John David Jacksons and people who were not ranked and weak and all that. And then Charlo knocked him out in one round, just like the Wilder fight. It was in a one-round knockout. You look at Michael Bisping, he talked all this about GSP, was touching all on him and flicking him and all that. And then he gets hurt with strikes, and then he gets submitted. Joanna Jerksey was like putting her knuckle all in Rose's face, loses. You know what I mean? Cody Garbrandt talking about all the war stories of when they sparred, and like he's saying he knocked out TJ Dillashaw, then he lost. And then now Luis Cuba Arias, like, all it was actually kind of, it was a very from that standpoint, and there's no disrespect to Luis Cuba Arias, is my honest opinion, but from that standpoint, it was a very disappointing performance based on what he led people to believe versus what actually showed up. Like, because I was tweeting about it, but like, for example, Luis Cuba Arias was talking about, he was like, oh, you got a paper chin. I used to see him get knocked out in the amateurs. He's like, man, down goes Jacobs, down goes Jacobs. He got a paper chin. He's like, he getting all this, him and John David Jackson, they were like, he getting all this credit for surviving with Golovkin. He didn't really do nothing. And he was like, don't run. Who hitting the deck? Who hitting the deck? Don't run. Don't run. Man, that dude Jacobs was not running. He was like literally not even, he was like really not even on his bicycle. When he fought Golovkin, he was on his bike a bit. You know what I mean? At least in spots. He was walking Cuba down, and Cuba was the one using more movement. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, from a fight fan perspective, on what I was sold and led to believe, I really thought, and then with the dude that bet me that's not gonna pay me my $40 super chat, right? What I was led to believe by him, who allegedly sparred Cuba, I expected more from the performance. He literally said, don't run, you got a paper chin. He's not a good inside fighter. People give him too much credit for fighting Triple G, and I'm gonna show you, we're gonna see. And then they was doing all that the face off, like, rah, rah. You know what I mean? That Busta Rhymes, I make sure everything we make's raw. You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, shit, it's going down. They about to get gully out. I make sure everything we make's raw. Like, I was ready. I was feeling it. I was like, damn. I'm giving my pick. I picked Jacobs, but hey, that face-off and shit, I was rocking with it. I was like, okay, it's about to go down. Don't run, Jacob. I was like, Jacobs, you my man, but don't run. You know what I mean? And then Jacobs was pretty calm. Brownsville, never ran, never will. You know what I'm saying? He said his little two pieces, but I mean, from that, I make sure everything we make's raw. Run up in your spot like my name was search warrant. That's how Busta Rhyme. Hit you with no delays and with his hand, yo. Silly with my 9 milli, what the? When I be on the mic as I do my duty, yo. I was expecting that rah, that, you know what I mean, that Busta, the way they had lit the fire, you know, or really Luis Cuba Arias, the way he lit that fire, I was like, oh shit, baby, if you give it to me, I was ready, man. I was ready for that. Like, tell me just how you feel. We living it and just giving it to you real, baby. Come on. Every time we're crossing the borderline, we're giving it to you, making you feel fine. Yeah, I was ready for that rah. You know what I mean? So from that perspective, Arias didn't deliver like none of what he said. In my honest opinion, I gave Jacobs every single round. It was almost like Canelo versus Chavez Jr. That's another person. Remember I told you Chavez Jr. was like, fantastico, you fight small guy. He was like saying all this, you Canelo, you spoil, you fight small guys, and he said all that stuff, and then you got up in there with him and it was something different. You know what I mean? So boxing be humbling people, to be honest. But I mean, I told you, and see, this is why I picked Jacobs. Experience goes a long way, and I'm not saying if you're the more experienced fighter, you can't get knocked the fuck out, or you can't lose, or you can't go the distance with a top level guy like Golovkin and then lose to somebody else. All that stuff can happen, but I don't know. Like I said Cuba Arias would have to show me that, because based on the just what I've seen from both fighters, I had to rock with Jacobs on the fight. Ego Fight Club. Now, see, this is the thing. Aside from the trash talk or whatever, is realistically, everybody acts like they can do some shit until it comes time to do some shit. And I'm not even talking about fighters, I'm talking about the fans. Like, everyone acts like this shit is easy to just predict all fights. Like, 7 reasons, oh, everybody knew Jacobs would win. No, the fuck not. Because I did the Ego Fight Club, and y'all was talking about down goes Jacobs, and Cuba Arias got this, it's his time. So I'm like, okay. You know what I mean? So don't try to flip it now. And we're going to get to the Ego Fight Clubs. That's part of what we're going to start doing for these reviews. But, I mean, all in all, Team Arias, they kind of have to go back to the drawing board. Everybody on HBO. Listen, if y'all want to know how I knew this fight was, like, bad in terms of how it was going versus what was said in the trash talk buildup, can I get a hell yeah? And I'm going to break it down. Let me know. Let me know. Can I get a hell yeah? If y'all want to know how I knew this wasn't going according to plan and how this fight was like way one-sided. Oh yeah, okay, y'all putting the hell yes. The way I knew is because your boy Ego, me and Harold Letterman were on the same page, and that don't happen often. Harold Letterman, like if it's Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez versus Carlos Cuadras, the way I'm scoring is way different from Harold Letterman because he's just giving Chocolatito rounds, despite how tough it is. But me and him, okay, Jim, 6 rounds to 0. I'm like, okay. If me and Harold, that's how you know it's not going according. But if Ego and Harold Letterman got the same scorecard, then you know it must be because Harold Letterman his scorecards be weird to me, especially if it's certain fighters like that they're putting Golovkin or somebody that they're pushing. Okay, Jim, 14 rounds to 0 Chocolatito. I like the guy. Like 14 rounds. Like this is not the old school. They only fighting a 12 rounder. How'd you give Chocolatito 14? I don't know. I just like him. Chocolatito, 14 rounds is like what? But anyway, me and your man Harold Letterman was on point with the scorecard. I gave Jacobs every round. I think that's what he did in the end. But I know going after like 6-7 rounds, we both had a 7-0 shutout. I was at the crib like, okay, Jim, I got it 7 rounds. Man, hey Harold, shout out to Hey Harold out this motherfucker. So that's how you know it was very easy to score because that doesn't happen in the average fight, especially if it's a Lomachenko or somebody, a house fighter that you know they're really trying to, they're not gonna really score it like how I feel boxing should be scored. You know what I mean? Harold be wild and like he was drinking that new French vanilla Ciroc in the bar and just came in on round 3. Okay, Jim, 3 rounds to this Ciroc is good. Like yeah, you wasn't even watching the fight, motherfucker, the way you scoring. Anyway, that's how I knew things weren't going according to plan. Shout out to my dude, my favorite fighter, Roy Jones. That dude knows boxing. I just like his dialogue. I like how he breaks down the fight. Y'all want the good, the bad, or ugly for Jacobs Arias? Ego is boxing. Thank you. Y'all want the good, the bad, or the ugly? Which you want me to start with? Good, bad, or ugly? Good, the bad, or ugly? Well, we're gonna get all the work off, but I want to know what y'all want first. The good, the bad, or ugly? Okay, so I'm gonna tell you the bad for Jacobs. So, cause you know we break down the fights fair. The bad for Jacobs is I think he could have stopped Arias. He had him hurt a couple of times that I seen from my perspective, but he came out. I think that he even said this post fight, but I noticed this in the fight. I really think he could have stopped Arias if he cleaned up his work a little bit more, but he kind of abandoned. Jacobs, see, the thing with Jacobs is he's a very good, it's like kind of like a Canelo even, where they have all the tools. They've showed you in different fights, they have different, like, especially Jacobs. I would say Jacobs probably even more so than Canelo, but I do think Canelo's a pretty well-rounded fighter. But in terms of Jacobs, he has an amateur pedigree, right? He has a pro pedigree. He's been in there, Golovkin, Peter Quinlan, etc., right? Dimitri Perot, top guy. But from a boxing standpoint, he has a crispy jab. He has power, throws hooks, can go to the body, use his legs versus Golovkin. You know what I'm saying? So he's like an all-around guy. Like he's not like a guy who started boxing late, had no amateur pedigree. Him and Sean Porter were scrapping as amateurs, right? And whoever else, Edwin Rodriguez and whoever else. So he really has all the tools. So to me, I think he could have stopped Arias. I think he just kind of abandoned certain things so much trying to make a statement. He was trying to make a statement, and he allowed that to get the better of it in spots where he still looks sharp. Don't get it twisted. He looked sharp throughout 12. He won every 12 round easily to me. Like it wasn't even, it was like I said, it's like Canelo versus Chavez Jr. It wasn't really like it was hard to score or anything. But I think he could have stopped him if he would have been more consistent on the jab, more dedicated to the body, you know what I'm saying? And just put it together instead of like, instead of trying to really like hurt that boy. But all that trash talk, he wanted to see. Shout out to my New York cats. Jacobs is from New York. from Brooklyn, from Brownsville, and New York slang. I'm gonna use y'all. I'll give y'all a little New York slang. Danny Jacobs wanted to son Luis Cuba Arias, and I understand, I respect it. But like I said, Floyd Mayweather, people like that, Andre Ward, even they're not gonna let the trash talk. Like Ward didn't let Kovalev's banter and memes and stuff take him out of the fight or get him too riled up. He still worked the fight he should have worked. But Jacobs, I could tell he could. And see, I like that because Jacobs, that means he has a mean streak. He was trying to sun him. So, you know what I mean? In my opinion, I think he could have got a stoppage, but he would have had Luis Cuba Arias is tough. You know what I mean? So he would have had to put it together intelligently. You know what I mean? So don't stop searching for shots. Like just like if he was jabbing and just ripping to the body, he would have stopped him. Like if he did that consistently, just you know what I'm saying, and put it together slightly different. And it's not even. And see, this is just kind of really me nitpicking because I thought he looked sharp. I thought Jacobs DJ looked sharp, and he won every round. So that's the bad for Jacobs. I mean, Luis Arias, we clearly know the bad for him. The bad for him is all the talk. He didn't really live up to any of it. I mean, how did you live up to any of it when everything you said, you lost every round? You know what I mean? You said Jacobs had a paper chin. You're a better inside fighter. He gets too much credit for going the distance with Triple G. I seen him get knocked out and knocked down and shit in the amateurs. I studied his career. You know what I mean? None of that came true. So I think he has to go back to drawing board. Y'all want the ugly? The ugly I gotta give the ugly to Team Arias. Do y'all want to hear the ugly? If y'all want the ugly, because I went over some of the good and the bad. If y'all want the ugly, y'all can put ugly in the comment section. Just put ugly. If y'all want that ugly. Oh, see, y'all like, do it, man, do it. See, it's that peer pressure. Put ugly. Y'all put ugly in the comments. I gotta know y'all still rocking with me. Put ugly in the comment section. I'm gonna tell y'all that ugly. And hit the like button while we at it. Someone said ugly. What the fuck is that? See, y'all want that word. Okay. The ugly for me was the amount of banter, trash talk, pre-fight stuff build up that Team Arias did. Not just Luis Cuba Arias, but even John David Jackson. I never felt like I seen or heard the sense of urgency from John David Jackson. And I was tweeting about it as it was happening. I'm gonna show y'all, just so y'all know everything I'm talking about is real. I didn't like that at all. I thought that was like really kind of weird because like John David Jackson, I've interviewed him stuff. He's a great trainer. I don't have a problem with his training style, but I thought he should have been a lot more fucking authoritative. Like you were like, your fighter is down. See, because Jacobs, shout out to Andre Rozier, underrated trainer. People forget about him and shit, but Rozier was saying some good stuff. He was like, you're hurting him to the body. Just do this, a little more of it. Sharpen it up, be more aggressive. That they were telling Jacobs. I mean, obviously, it's easier to Jacobs' team's credit. It's easier if the fight's going your way, so it's easier for you to give clear instructions because you're just telling them to do more of something or how to put it together. So when you're down, I'm sure it's probably harder to come up with the proper advice. But the way John David Jackson was talking, to me, I was just like, damn, he's acting like his fighter's still in it. So hold on, I'm gonna show y'all. I said, not feeling the lack of urgency from John David Jackson. He talking about you have 2 rounds to work. And I said, no, Arias needs a KO to win, and he's in survival mode. So to me, I look at boxing from all angles, and I couldn't understand why John David Jackson seemed that passive about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, come on, you got two rounds of work. Like, you don't got no 2 rounds of work. You need literally need something dramatic to win this fight. You know what I mean? So I would have liked to see more passion. Here's the other tweet I put. I said, all the trash talk from John David Jackson and Arias, I'm not feeling Jackson's calm. One more round. You got to do it this round demeanor. They aren't delivering what they promised. Jacobs clearly trying to knock him out. You know what I'm saying? The other bad for Arias to me was he said that Jacobs can't fight on the inside and had a paper chin. So the fact that Jacobs was mad aggressive and not necessarily, like, put it this way, and Jacobs is my dude, but if Jacobs was in there with Canelo, or if he was in there with Triple G, I promise you he wouldn't have showed the lack of respect that it takes to walk him down in every round, because he would value the punching power and the skill set of Canelo and Triple G. I mean, he already fought Triple G. We've seen that. So to me, I know, despite anything trash talk and what happened before that, Jacobs is a versatile fighter. So I know he's not going to just walk him down. He was trying to make a statement. He was trying to get Luis Cuba Arias there, and he knew, he even said it, there's levels to this shit. You know what I mean? He knew he was on a different level. So he was sharp, and he was he didn't really do anything wrong. Defensively responsible and stuff, but he was trying to make a statement. He was trying to get Luis Cuba Arias out there. So that being said, the fact that he was fighting like that, knowing, in my opinion, if he fought Triple G again or if he fought Canelo, he wouldn't have tried to walk them down every single round. You know what I'm saying? He would have been like using some movement, jab, but fighters do what they feel they can do. If he feels he can get away with it with you, he's going to do it. And he, like he said, there's levels. So that being said, that creates more openings for Luis Cuba Arias, because he wasn't really respecting your space and he was walking you down. You know what I mean? So with that in mind, that would have been the perfect opportunity for Luis Cuba Arias to make good on what he said. Jacobs got a paper chin, and Jacobs is not a good inside fighter. And he didn't, you know what I'm saying? And it looked like he started to wilt and get fatigued one of the later rounds, and he kept clinching. And I'm like, damn, you're down. Like that's part of what I'm talking about with John David Jackson, with him being calm. His fighter kept clinching. Like if you've lost the first 6 rounds and you're in round 7, 8, you pretty much need a knockout to win in a 12-round fight. You know what I'm saying? You pretty much need a knockout to win. And his best opportunity to work, given Jacobs's aggression and walking him down, would have been to fight on the inside and try to catch him with something short, catch him on the button or whatever. And he was clinching. So I'm like, why is he clinching so much? And again, if we keep going back to the trash talk, this is the total opposite of what he said. He was telling Jacob, don't run. Don't run. You know what I'm saying? So he wasn't running. He was bringing the fight to your front door, and then he was getting off some shit. And then I feel like Arias was what's the word? He was clinching. So I don't know. Just wasn't a strong performance by Luis Cuba Arias. Yes, Big Baby won. Gerald Miller. One thing I did like Jacobs was really doing too. I mean, Jacobs, I didn't have no problem with his performance. He was shooting this nasty uppercut. His timing on that uppie was like stupid. He hit him with it. At least I could think of like 3 very good ones where Arias was like coming in. And Roy Jones is a master of boxing, because he was talking about how Cuba Arias had his gloves kind of too tense and too tight. You know what I'm saying? Versus other fighters like even Jacobs, their gloves is not like that, because you create blind spots, this and that, and your reaction time is going to be different, especially with sweeping punches. So I thought Jacobs was just dominating, to be honest, and I really expected more from Cuba Arias based on what he said he could do. You know what I mean? And he has an amateur background. And then, like I said, the dude that is never going to show up right now, that bet me $40, he was saying that Cuba Arias' power is just crazy. And see, remember, listen, this is why I hot seat people, so y'all see this. Remember all that stuff he was saying? Jacobs got a glass chin and Luis Cuba Arias' chin, but who looked hurt more in the fight? You know what I'm saying? Who looked more hurt in the fight? So y'all I tell y'all all the time, y'all overstate this all these terms, cherry picking and glass chin. He never even, when did Jacobs get hurt in a 12-rounder with the guy who's undefeated, just came off a knockout on the Kovalev Ward 2 undercard? I never really seen him hurt. You know what I mean? So where's all this glass chin? Again, y'all keep riding off of Dimitri Perot 2012 or whatever the fuck that was, 2012 fight, and Sergio Mora knocking him down and getting knocked out twice. Like, that's it. But the fact is, Quillin and and Golovkin, bigger punches than Sergio Mora. And in my opinion, Arias, they didn't even do that. They didn't do that to Jacobs, like knock him out. So, I mean, if y'all want to keep bringing up, that's what I'm saying. People don't know shit about boxing, B. Like, it's annoying. Like, when Canelo was fighting Golovkin, people kept saying, oh, Golovkin, he's going to knock him out. You seen Jose Miguel Cotto hurt Canelo, and he went to the ropes. Like, Canelo was fucking 19. Who cares? And he still stopped. He stopped Jose Miguel Cotto and could have stopped Miguel Cotto when they fought. So who cares about some 19-year-old Canelo? Is that who he is right now? Do you know what I'm saying? And like, you guys, Dimitri Pereira, like when can you get past that? Hey, you want me to give Glow the hot seat? If y'all want Glow to give, if y'all want me to give Glow the hot seat, let me know. Y'all want the hot seat? All right, grab your popcorn. Glow, you up next. So he keeps saying basically Jacobs look rusty and Jacobs look bad. How did he look bad in a fight where he won 12 out of 12 rounds? Please do explain. Please explain. Someone said, please wreck this man. See, I do what the fans want. I kept seeing his Glow name. Y'all submitted it, so he in here now. So where's Glow? Get your popcorn. See, I tell y'all gonna learn sooner than later. It's much easier to just type some dumb shit than to explain it. Someone said give Soul Glow the hot seat. Where's Glow? You was typing back to back to back. Now all of a sudden it's suddenly dried up. Triple G and Canelo would have knocked Arias out. That's a matter of your opinion. You know what I mean? That's your opinion. Cotto is smaller than Arias, and he didn't get knocked out by Canelo at 155, where Canelo had been fighting. So that's your personal opinion on what would happen on fake fights that haven't happened. So that's not like, see, why, if you're in the hot seat, why don't you go off of fact? Why don't you go off of fact? And the fact is, Luis Cuba Arias ain't got knocked out by nobody, and he's fought actual middleweights. Now he just fought Daniel Jacobs, who's 6 feet tall. So there's no guarantee that Triple G and Canelo would have knocked him out. Maybe they would have beat him, even if they bloodied him up. That don't mean a knockout. Charlo would have knocked out Arias out. Now, you see, you know you done fucked up. You just wasted 2 responses on hypothetical fake matches, and you're name dropping every other fighter other than the person you're in the hot seat for. Listen, you're supposed to be explaining how horrible Jacobs looked and how rusty he looks, and you keep talking to me about Canelo and Chepo Reynoso and Charlo and Jermell and Jamal. Like, you're supposed to be talking about Jacobs. Get to the Jacobs part. Where the Jacobs stuff? Where you just said he's rusty. Stop telling me about Canelo, Abel Sanchez, Triple G. I don't care about none of them. I'm talking about the person that put you in this hot seat. So you have 2 strikes and you got 1 more. In the words of 50 Cent, you gotta do something, baby. So come on, Glow. Your Glow looking real dim right now. It's looking real dim right now. It don't look like much of a glow. Cause I watched movies. Last Dragon, one of my favorite movies. When Bruce Leroy got the glow, he was like, whoa. He really had the glow. You don't have no glow like Bruce Leroy. I am. You don't got the glow, man. Where's Glow at? So why did Jacobs look so terrible when he... see, look. Listen how stupid these people sound when they say stuff like that. How you beat an undefeated fighter coming off of a loss, a guy who sounded confident before the fight, you win 12 rounds out of 12 rounds and hurt the guy, and you say he looked rusty. So if that's looking rusty, then that's not that bad. That's not, you know what I mean? Oh, he looked rusty, but he was still sharp enough to win every single round and hurt the man. Kiss my Converse. Please. Where's Glow at? Glow, I told y'all, Glow looking real dim. You're supposed to glow in the dark. You about to be in the dark because you about to get the boot. Where you at? Am I the meanest? Sure enough. Yeah. We about to put you in them piranhas from the Last Dragon, that piranha tank. Come on, Glow. Listen, you got 10 seconds. 7 seconds. 5 seconds. We gonna cook you. 3 seconds. No responses? You just want the casket like after 2? Okay. One of my moderators, get Glow up out of here. The glow is finally extinguished. We had to turn the lights off. Clap on. Clap off. Hey, one of my mods, get Glow out of here. I don't care if he responded. He took too long. He didn't beat the buzzer. He's out of here. And all of his other responses were dumb, so I know this one was dumb. So get him out of here. Because you can't respond after 20 seconds after the buzzer ends. That's like it's fourth quarter, there's 7 seconds on the clock, right? And then I shoot a 3-pointer after everyone's walking to the locker room. It just doesn't work like that. Oh, Steph Curry with the 3. Like, everybody's already walking into the locker room. That 3-pointer don't count. Clock's done. Anyway, yeah. See, but that's what I'm talking about. I knew this was gonna happen because I seen people on Twitter and stuff. Oh, that fight was boring and Jacobs didn't look good. Listen, Jacobs won 12 rounds out of 12 rounds, coming off an 8-month, maybe he fought in March, and I know I've covered several. I went to that fight. I covered several fights since then. I can't even count how many fights I've covered since March. You know what I mean? Broner, Garcia, Canelo, Triple G, Mayweather, McGregor, Crawford, and Dongo. So I know it was a while ago, right? So he ain't fought since March. He's coming off a loss, and he won 12 rounds out of 12 rounds and took Arias' O and hurt him. So, I mean, that's not really looking rusty and weak to me. You know what I mean? That's like saying Errol Spence looked rusty. Yeah, he took a couple rounds to work out and shake out some cobwebs versus Kell Brook, but the end result was he stopped Kell Brook. So, I mean, these aren't bad looking wins to me. You know what I'm saying? He won every round, and the person that said don't run and stuff was actually running and clinching more than him. So you guys have to understand and know how to grade and score and watch boxing. You know what I mean? Like, what everyone wants to be overly critical. It doesn't make sense. Like, Jacobs did his thing, and I thought Jacobs looks. I actually thought he looked pretty sharp. And see, if you really know, man, my hands hurting. If you really know your boxing, you got to understand this. You got to understand this. When you're fighting somebody who's apprehensive and not really going for broke, it's going to be very hard to necessarily get them out when they're not even being that offensive. Now, Wilder got crazy power, so he was able to do it with Bermane, even though Stavron wasn't really throwing punches because he's hitting too hard and he's too wild. But I could think of several. Nonito Donaire versus that Japanese dude, Takashi Nishioka. The guy didn't want to engage with Donaire. He felt that power, wasn't really having it. Artur Beterbiev is supposed to be a killer. Some people were saying Andre Ward retired because of Beterbiev. He didn't look good in his fight. But at the same time, like Teddy Atlas was arguing with the commentator, I mean, he's fighting the fight to win, and he, to me, he's doing what he has to do to win, and the guy is not as engaging. And even though he got a last round knockout, that shit was like very slow paced, considering who Beterbiev is supposed to be. You know what I mean? Amateur background, supposed to be this powerhouse that made Ward duck and all this shit. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think Beterbiev looked that great. And to me, I think Beterbiev was actually in there with someone lesser than per division than Luis Cuba Arias. I think Cuba Arias would have had a higher ranking than, I don't even know who that dude is. Coling? Who the fuck is that? The Cali Enigma $5 super chat. Big Baby Miller's AJ's next opponent. He has no defense, very little punching power, and overweight. Now he came down in his weight. So shout out to the super chat. Like I said, I can see that happening next. They're both with Eddie Hearn. That wasn't. Listen, if you're comparing performances, Wilder's performance was more destructive. So as a promoter, why wouldn't Eddie Hearn put in the fighter that he just acquired, who went several rounds with Marish Weck, who's been stopped before by Povetkin? You know what I mean? And he probably feels his fighter has some advantage in there. So I can see that fight happening next too. Big Baby wasn't heavy tonight. He's heavy every night. His other fights, he was fighting at 300 pounds, 296. He actually came down to weight. You guys got to follow boxing to know this stuff. He actually dropped weight for this. He used to be like 296 to 300 pounds. But yeah, man, I expected more from the Arias side. Like even John David Jackson, like I said, he was just like, he was too chill to me. He was like, we got 2 more rounds to work. Like you gotta light the fire under your fighter. Especially like for me, like people I'm close with, like we know how to talk to each other. If I'm fucking up, they'll know how to tell me that. You know what I mean? And I just feel like John David Jackson didn't really deliver the message of urgency. I didn't really feel urgency. He's like, 1 more round. You got to do it in the next round. Like what? We're gonna read some of my tweets. Jacobs looks very intense in the eyes. Looks like he wants to make a statement. I noticed that from round 1. Round 1, I noticed that. Arias did what Bermane Stiverne did to Deontay Wilder in their first fight. I think Arias was hurt, maybe off balance with a clipping shot. Jacobs got aggressive, and then Luis Cuba Arias tackled him. You know what I mean? Smart veteran move, create some chaos, tackle him if you got the spacing to do it, and the ref is gonna have to pick you back up, both of y'all back up, and stuff like that. First round was pretty even, but I think Jacobs stole it in the last minute and a half. He started. That's when that whole sequence happened with the tackle. Roy Jones Jr. is absolutely right. Let the knockout come despite the trash talk. Jacobs coming out like a David Haye versus Tony Bellew, where he's intense, looking a little too much for the power shot early. Let me explain this to you. See, come to Boxingego, come to Death Row East. Like we really break down the fights, and like what I see. This is just from the mind of ego. So I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just telling you how I see it. This reminded me of David Haye versus Tony Bellew. A lot of banter, a lot of trash talk before the fight. Got under people's skin, right? David Haye knew he was the bigger puncher. Felt, you know, he's more fit to be the heavyweight. So he was a little bit too eager versus Tony Bellew in their first fight. Like he was like trying to knock his head off. And that was actually making it easier because it seemed like Bellew, who's a good boxer and is actually probably taller than David Haye, he's like 6'3". I think Bellew kind of expected it more. So that was working against David Haye early. And then I felt David Haye slowed the pace down. They start to land more significant shots and maybe even hurt Bellew. But then after that, he got his Achilles collapsed. So luckily, there's no injuries in the Jacobs fight. But for me, I think he was, like I said, he was trying to sun Luis Ortiz. So he might have been a little bit too antsy in spots where he was like, he could have let it come to him a little bit more, right? They're both 6'3". Yeah, but David Haye looks shorter. I've seen them doing the face-off. So, I mean, people's height, it says Mayweather's 5'9". I've stood right next to Floyd, and he's not 5'9". Trust me, he's not 5'9". So, you know what I mean? People wear different shoes and shit. Bottom line, back to my point, is Tony Bellew looks taller. In majority of pictures, if you take 4 or 5 different pictures, all with different shoes, I think Bellew will look taller than David Haye in most of those pictures. Anyway, moving on. I just think Jacobs was, he wanted to put it hurting on him so much where he was, you know what I mean, he could have, and it might have been because he's been on an 8-month layoff. And I'm not even, like I said, this is really just nitpicking because he won every single fucking round. You know what I'm saying? I'm just telling you, I think he could have stopped Luis Cuba Arias. John David Jackson braided back like Omarion from B2K for this one. I was feeling them John David Jackson braids though, but not the corner advice. I wanted more urgency. See, look at the time, man. I call this shit right as I see it. Arias reaching a bit with his shots while not in range. I mean, first 4 rounds, I seen that a lot. I mean, I'm sure it continued, but I just noticed that early. Like Luis Cuba Arias was, Jacobs is pretty tall. Like, you know, I've stood next to dude. I got pictures with him. He's pretty tall. I'm taller than him, but he's pretty tall, especially considering he's at middleweight. You know what I'm saying? He's a tall, just like Tony Bellew's tall for his, you know what I mean, when he was fighting at light heavyweight, he's like 6'3", right? Don't speak in code, bruh. What are you talking about? What code? What? Do y'all just like interrupting the stream just to say dumb shit? What are you talking about? Don't speak in code. Does anyone not understand anything I've said so far? He said, don't speak in code. Like I'm like, this. Oh, they talking to each other. Oh, whatever. Anyway, I noticed that early on, Arias was reaching a bit with his punches. Like, he was punching and he was like not even in range, so he was kind of missing wildly. You can't do that against a tall fighter. Jacobs, again, good jab, good timing, was shooting the uppercut, things like that. So, Arias, as a shorter man, you know what I'm saying, use some head movement, figure out how you can get into Garcia, what's his name, Jacobs' chest. Kind of like Sean Porter. You have to like nuzzle your way into it. You know what I mean? Change levels, get in, use some head movement. But you know what I mean? Punching from way far out. In my honest opinion, that's why. That's one of the main reasons Pacquiao can't beat Floyd. Floyd's taller. Floyd's a master of distance, and Pacquiao is dumb. Like, not. I don't mean to sound like cutthroat, but I'm saying as a fighter, he's not as smart as Mayweather. So he was doing the same shit where he's way this far back from Floyd. He's this far back, and he's trying to like, you're not gonna be able to catch Floyd like that. I mean, maybe I caught him in like round 3 or 4, whatever the fuck it was, but more often than not, when you're this far out of reach of Floyd, right? You're not gonna with short ass arms. You're not gonna be able to cover that much ground like that. You know what I mean? And just jump to Floyd and see Floyd. He got check hooks and shit. So even if you did cover a lot of ground, he might check hook you. Or if you watch the Pacquiao fight, Pacquiao lunged in, and people don't even talk about this punch. It might have been in round 11. I don't really remember. Pacquiao jumped in and got his teeth clicked. Like, if he didn't have a mouthpiece, his teeth would have been like click, because Floyd's like bink and shot an uppercut, and Pacquiao was like caught the uppercut flush. It's not smart. So that's what I seen with like Luis Arias. He was reaching. You're not in proximity to attack Jacobs, who's much taller, from way out there. You know what I mean? Jacobs had a good guard up. He's taller, so you're trying to, like, even when he was against the ropes, he was like like trying to catch him with one. And the reason, and see, the other thing why I feel like you can't really critique. If y'all want to know why I feel like I won't overly critique Jacobs and make it like he fought a bad fight. Can I get a hell yeah? I'm gonna break it down, real boxing style. I'm gonna break it down why I feel like it's kind of pointless to overly critique it and make it like Jacobs fought this bad fight. There's a couple of points, but just put hell yeah in the comment section and we'll get to it. I tweeted this. I said, funny thing is, first 3 rounds, Luis Arias said, don't run, but he's using more movement than Jacobs is, and Jacobs is hunting, LOL. You know what I'm saying? So I thought, like I said, per what they were saying. But how I knew, this is why I don't blame Jacobs. Look at this tweet. Jacobs trying to land that Marcos Maidana chopping right hand, LOL, barely missing. Like, he was throwing this smoke, and it reminded me of Maidana, because he was like trying to come down. Like, if Luis Arias was like, his head was kind of like low, out of position, he was trying to come down like Maidana and clip him on the chin or something, and he was throwing it with some fucking heat. So that alone, the way I seen him desperately trying to land that means he was trying to hurt that boy. He was trying to he's trying to get his man out of there, to be honest. And another reason is he took chances he didn't even really have to take. By the 11th round, clearly Arias needed a knockout to win, right? And in the 12th round, he was still trying to knock out Arias. He was still winning the round. He was still throwing vicious combinations, trying to dig to the body. So that's my whole point, is like, how can you be mad at Jacobs? He was trying to do everything he could to get his man out of there. But once again, Luis Cuba Arias, pretty tough. He is an amateur. You know, I mean, he's not an amateur. He does have an amateur pedigree. So sometimes guys are just crafty, know how to survive. And when you're not as offensive as a fighter, so you got to understand boxing. It's not just what you see and like, oh, Jacobs, he has this knockout ratio. He should definitely have got him out of there. You know what I'm saying? He was trying to get him out of, trust me. But when your guy's not being as offensive, that creates less openings. And then in addition to that, and I'm gonna get to one of my tweets because it'll better help you guys understand where my mind's at with this. But it creates less openings when your guy's being more, doesn't know what to do and clinching. Every time Jacobs was trying to work, what's the name, was clinching a bit. He wasn't really like, and he was clearly behind. Like if Luis Cuba Arias fought like James Kirkland, then you might have seen the knockout or a knockdown. Because Kirkland, no matter what, he's gonna try. Like if he gets fucked up in the process, James Kirkland will go out on his shield. You know what I'm saying? He will go out on his shield. So you have to have that kind of mindset. And to me, Arias kind of seemed like he was in survival mode. Kirkland will get knocked out. Well, look at the Canelo fight. He will get knocked out trying to at least get to you, whether it's smart or not. But I mean, you got to give him warrior points at least. Anyway, we're gonna keep going. Break shit down. And I said I actually agree with Harold Letterman after 3. LOL. Okay, Jim, that really doesn't happen. Jacobs landing a laser uppercut. I think HBO tweeted it, retweeted me. I thought I seen something about HBO. I don't know. Yeah, look. See, we getting big out here. Look at HBO. HBO retweeting the kid, man. HBO, look, this is HBO's page. HBO know what it is, man. They said, Ego, you run boxing. Look, Rosie Perez getting the retweet. Where am I at? Look at HBO said they fucking with the kid. They said Ego run boxing out this, but HBO said new media, man. Yeah, I know, but we making, cause I didn't mention, I didn't tweet. I mean, I don't even know how they found this, because I didn't even put no hashtags or nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I don't even know how they found it. I didn't tag them or anything. So they came to me and found. So shout out to HBO, man. That's cool, man. We verified now. That's probably why they trying to fuck with the kid. Like, oh, okay. You stuck in that man's stick. You blocked. You talking about weirdo stuff. End of round 6. Hold on, I skipped around a little. Hold on. Hold on, sorry about that. Jacobs landing a laser uppercut, timing it on point. Arias seems frustrated in round 4. He was trying to throw wild clubbing haymakers in a clinch. Jacobs yelled, "Ref, ref!" Like he wanted the ref to control it. Yeah, see, y'all gotta really learn boxing, like who you get your information from, because I know a lot of people can't like see the stuff happening as it's happening in real time and shit. You know what I'm saying? And y'all gotta just beware, because not everyone really knows boxing. Just because you have a boxing channel or write boxing article don't mean you know your shit. I'm telling you guys what it is, and I noticed that even in round 4, that Luis Cuba Arias, when fighters start showing signs of frustration, that's how you know the fight's not going their way. I.e., look at Victor Ortiz. Victor Ortiz could not hit Floyd Mayweather. He actually started off good, but then Floyd made adjustments, and then he was like trying to push Floyd back to the ropes, and he couldn't. He was missing. He was like, I can't show you with 2 hands. He was like, and then Floyd was walking back the ropes and dodging it, and he got so frustrated after that sequence, he jumped up and headbutt Floyd. You know what I mean? So when you start seeing that, he also got frustrated in the Josecito Lopez fight. Those are early signs that a fight's not necessarily going your way, because you're trying to rabbit punch and just anything. Donaire did it versus Rigondeaux. Donaire, the reason he got that knockdown is because Rigondeaux was becoming a problem as the fight wore on, and then they were in a clinch and he just caught him real quick. But Donaire was showing in the Rigondeaux fight, he was showing some signs of frustration about halfway through. I don't have the exact rounds, so I seen that clearly from Arias. He was rabbit punching, low blows, tussling type shit. You know what I mean? And it showed. And again, experience. Lack of experience. I tell y'all, I say the same shit often. Roy Jones Jr. is boxing royalty. He knows his shit. I love listening to Roy commentate because he knows what the fuck he's talking about. I said Jacobs controlling the fight, gave him the first 5 rounds, not really even debatable in my opinion. Jacobs Arias. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, look at the timestamps. I'm telling you as I go. I don't wait to read HBO's scorecard. I just do it as I see it, so you know it's official and transparent. I said Roy brought up a great point. He said when Arias is getting close to the range, he said he wanted, why would he be holding? You know what I mean? He was telling Jacobs not to run, but he was actually using more movement and clinching more. I said, damn, Jacobs a dog. He started swarming Arias, who again proceeded to hold in the last 12 seconds. Jacobs' trainer said, you being too nice, I want you to rough him up. And that's what I like about what Jacobs' trainer was doing. He knew he was trying to get Jacobs to the next level to get that stoppage. You know what I mean? He's seen how it was going. In the round 6, Jacobs showed that Brooklyn Rumble stuff he showed versus Peter Quillen. And that's that Rumble stuff that he was talking about, saying where you just let your hands go and kind of push for a stoppage. Arias seems hesitant and non-committal offensively. Hard to knock out a vet with one single home run shot. Arias wasn't putting it together. Sounds like Jacobs' trainer Rozier feels Arias ain't got nothing for his fighter. He keeps telling Jacobs to up the aggression, stop being so nice, put them combos on him, which was good advice. Arias looks frustrated based on rough tactics, rabbit punches, low blows, etc. Signs of frustration. I just call it how I see it. Arias has lost every round. Don't really like him clinching as much when before the fight he taunted Jacobs, don't run, and he said he was the better in-fighter, needs to let his hands go. I mean, if he wanted to give himself a fighting shot, he'd have to let his hands go, to be honest. Jacobs needs to get back to jabbing. Very good jab that he has. That will set up a possible finish. What else are we? Jacobs is piecing up Arias so far. To be honest, Arias isn't not really on it offensively. Which creates a conundrum for Jacobs. Get even more aggressive yourself, which gives Arias a better shot to land something big, or just keep working workmanlike. See, for my real boxing fans, I'm gonna break this down. That was the tweet I wanted to get to. I'm gonna break it down for you guys, man. All the people who are like, oh, the fight was boring, or Jacobs didn't look sharp, or stuff like that, that is the conundrum. If you guys are familiar with the term conundrum, the conundrum is this: you've dominated, you're clearly winning every single round, right? So you have really 2 choices. You can A, get even more aggressive, even though what you're doing is working and you're landing better power shots. At the end of the fight, they said Jacobs, I think, had a 45% connect percentage or whatever. And you can either A, even get more aggressive, which creates more of a window for your opponent to do anything else that hasn't worked previously in the fight, and possibly hit you with some shit. You know what I mean? Excuse me. So you can either, like I said, up the ante, up the tempo, even though what you're doing has been great, solid work, good technical work, better power shots, jabbing, rip to the body and stuff. So you can try to get overzealous and, you know what I mean, take it to the next level. by really pushing the pace even more, which you also have to consider your own stamina. You know what I mean? If you put too many punches together, you punch yourself out, blah, blah, blah. Or more importantly, if in the process of you getting even more aggressive, right, you get clipped with something, or you can B, just continue working workmanlike, and if a knockout presents itself or a knockdown, then you capitalize. So that's, to me, that's real boxing talk. Like that's a decision a fighter would have to make. You know what I mean? Okay, I'm clearly winning up 6 rounds. I'm clearly dominating. So do I, to look good and impress the fans? And in my opinion, I would say more often than not, unless you have like crazy power. No, I didn't get the play button yet. I would more often than not, I would say you would pick option B. Like anybody play Madden? Any Madden fans that plays Madden? Or even just watches football. Same concept as football, where let's say you're encroaching and trying to get down, you're out of field goal range, right? So you're not close enough to be in field goal range, but you had a good drive and you were moving the ball down the field, and now it's like 4th and 1. Now you can risk it. You're not quite in field goal range, but you can risk it by pressing the issue. And if you don't cross that 1 yard line and get the first down, then your opponent, who's already beating you, is going to have good field position, and it's going to be a turnover on downs. So that's a decision that football coaches have to make. Should we just punt the ball, or should we go for it on 4th and 1? And if we come up short, then they're going to be in good field position, etc. But yeah, but someone says, I'm going for it. Yeah, but you have to peep the analogy. You can go for it, but in boxing, if you go for it, then you might get knocked the fuck out. So that's stupid to me. That I like, more often than not, I would tell the fighter to just keep fighting the fight that they're in, that they're controlling. Because it's not just a turnover on downs in boxing. It might be you looking like Bermain Stavern. So it just doesn't make sense. And like, look at it like this. Jacobs up 7-8 rounds to 0, right? And y'all, I'm saying punt. You already got a good lead or whatever the situation is. Just punt the ball. Don't get greedy. Actually, that's better. Not the other team up. You're up. If you're up on the scoreboard and it's 4th and 1. Do you really have to press it and get greedy for another first down when you can punt and you're already up? But say the game is not out of hand where they could catch back up. Just punt the ball more often than not, especially if it's a little bit more than a yard, since you guys want to be technical. It's just an analogy. But in boxing, if you go for it and you turn over on downs, your turning over on downs is you getting knocked the fuck out potentially. And you're already up, that's just being greedy. You know what I'm saying? More often than not. So most people would just do what's been working for them. You know what I mean? And the other thing is this. Jacobs, he's in line for another big fight. He's in line for another big fight. You have Lemieux Saunders, because what if Canelo and Triple G rematch? Then they're going to be booked up. And Lemieux Saunders winner and Jacobs, they're all in the same network for the most part. They're both on HBO. So do you really potentially let Luis Cuba Arias back in the fight when you're up by 8 rounds? That's stupid. You know what I mean? That it doesn't make sense when you're clearly doing it. So I would say just stay the course. If the knockout comes, then it comes. But I mean, look at like Pacquiao. Pacquiao, when he fought Juan Manuel Marquez in the 4th fight, he was clearly winning rounds 5 and 6, right? He was busting Marquez's nose up and shit, and Marquez looked like he was having trouble breathing and he was getting hurt, but he got too overconfident and got stretched for it. And then now, when it could have just been, you know what I mean, a 10-9, 10-8 round maybe, I forgot, for Pacquiao, it could have just been a solid another win, and you might have been able to stop him in the next round. He got too careless in the last 10 seconds, and then Marquez hit him with that right, and it was murder, she wrote. So you got to make those decisions as a fighter. So I don't fault Jacobs. You know what I mean? Just stay the course. he even said it. Jacob said at the press conference. He said, "I'm gonna make you work for everything that you get in there," and that's what he did. You know what I mean? If it's working and he's just tough and he's not going anywhere, then just finish like that. Cause it's like, would you rather be? Me personally, I'd be more mad at myself if I was winning 9 rounds or so, and then I got knocked out, as opposed to if I won a decision. You know what I mean? And couldn't knock out a guy, and I'm a knockout artist. You know what I mean? And the funny thing is, you look at Triple G, he's a known knockout artist. He didn't knock out his last 2 people either. So, you know what I mean? Sometimes you have to just be content with, and the difference being, Triple G, when he fought Jacobs, was competitive. This wasn't. You know what I mean? So you got to get it how you get it. Get the W is more important. Jacobs hurting Arias to the body with vicious combos. He's kind of toying with Arias. Arias has lost every round, clinching every time, making it harder for Jacobs to work cleanly, which is, you know what I mean, that's smart veteran moves. You know what I mean? At least I'll break his knockout streak. I told you, not feeling the lack of urgency from John David Jackson. He talking about you have 2 rounds to work. Arias clearly needed a knockout to win. Round 11, Arias ruled a knockdown. Apparently his glove touched the ground. I didn't see it, but I think Roy said it wasn't one. But that really didn't even matter. That alleged knockdown or not knockdown, because he lost every round. So 1-1 being a 10-8 round really didn't change anything. And then all that trash talk from Team Arias. I'm not feeling Jackson's calm demeanor. Saying 1 more round. Arias is tough, but he was totally outclassed. He got dominated. Did not deliver what he promised. I had him losing every round. Levels. So, boxing has a way of humbling you. Told y'all. Ego Fight Club. Where's my super chat money from the dude? You see what I have to deal with? Liars. Oh, I'll pay you your money. Or you said Jacobs was getting knocked out. I would have, even if Luis Arias won a decision, I would have paid you the money. But once again, they disappear. Oh, I'll pay you your $40, huh? Trust me. No. Someone said, Ego, did you get your money from the bet? No, I didn't. Of course I didn't. He is probably watching. He's probably watching under a new name, fucking John Doe 636 or something. Man, Jacobs is getting knocked out. I bet you 40. Where's my 40 at then? See, yeah, like Floyd Mayweather, I just want to be on an even playing field. That's why I said we need an escrow account so I could just withdraw my money when you lose. Yeah, you know he ain't gonna pay. See, and that's what's wrong with people. They always write checks they ass can't cash. But anyway, shout out to Jose Ramirez. That was a great win for him. Beat undefeated. I think he was undefeated. Mike Reed in front of his hometown. I've been to the I didn't go today. I'm actually kind of glad I didn't, because I expected more from that Better Be of shit. And yeah, I mean the main event was only 2 rounds. See, Fresno for me is 3 hours. It's like 3 hours away. So I mean that would have been a lot of just traveling and stuff for those fights. So that was good watching on TV. I was satisfied. I don't even feel like filming today, to be honest. Like filming like at a boxing event, all that. So that was a great win for Jose Ramirez. They're saying Amir Imam and him next. Better Be as the IBF champ. Good for him. You know what? I want to see Kovalev-Shabransky winner fight Better Be. That's a unification. Let's push that. Rematch. If Kovalev wins, then Better Be fights a rematch from the amateurs. Now there's really no excuse. Kovalev's fighting for the vacant WBO since Ward retired, and Better Be just won the vacant IBF. Let's get that unification up in there. And it doesn't have to be their next fight. Like if he fights Shabransky, Kovalev could fight one other person. Better be if he can fight one other person. But by the end of 2018, why don't you make that? You know what I mean? Better be versus Sullivan Barrera. Kovalev versus Marcus Brown. And then the winner fight, like, if Better Be wins and Kovalev wins. Well, shit, Kovalev got to win versus Shabransky. And I don't know how he's going to be mentally. So, just forward thinking. Looks like Chris Algieri's diet modification is helping Jacobs a lot. He looked in peak physical shape and displayed a masterclass performance. Yeah, man, that nutrition. You know what they say, even like bodybuilders and stuff, they say nutrition's 70% of it, 30% is the work. He looked in great shape. Like I said, I'm not like, the man just took a guy's O and he did it seamlessly. Like, and the guy, according to the press conference and stuff, didn't want to go easy. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, the fact that Jacobs took a guy with an amateur pedigree who was trash talking him and pitched a shutout. I mean, people in boxing got to be realistic, really. You got to be realistic. That doesn't, you know what I mean? You're angry with that. And I can understand someone maybe saying it was boring because it was one-sided. People do that, but I mean, this shit wasn't even boring because, like, there's still action to me. There wasn't like neither guy was working. Like, to me, I can't even think. Like, Klitschko Fury was boring to me, and it's because they both weren't really throwing that many punches, and they're both big-ass heavyweights. But this wasn't boring. Jacobs looked sharp, he looked explosive, and then Arias was tough. He just wasn't offensive enough. And I would like to see more fire behind John David Jackson and his corner calling, especially if you're looking to attract even more fighters to your stable since you lost Kovalev. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm sure if you're a fighter, you look at that. Like when people seen Virgil Hunter giving Andre Ward good advice coming off of the Kovalev knockdown in round 2, that's why Daniel Jacobs brought Virgil Hunter in as a second set of eyes or whatever when he fought Triple G. Canelo Chavez was boring as fuck. I don't know why I felt so bored with that. Maybe because I had high expectations. Like, because it was, and see, this is the difference too. Canelo Chavez was pay-per-view, and like the undercard to me wasn't that great. So I finally get to the main event that I thought would be more climactic, and then it wasn't. So that was a little bit different, and it was pay-per-view, and this was just a regular HBO. So I put stuff in sections. You know what I'm saying? Why you roast bro on the gram like that? Because he called me racist because I didn't reply to his DM. I was doing too much. But let's see if we can get over 200 likes, people. Hit that like button. We just talking some boxing, little freestyle gang. Damn, I'm telling y'all, man. Ego Fight Club. Danny gonna hurt this dude. Arias comes in aggressive, trying to prove a point, but he will get caught in the first round and get put to sleep. So that didn't happen. Ego, what's up, champ? Stay putting out heat. New media, keep grinding. I got Jacobs. Jacobs TKO. You don't know shit about boxing, Dick Rider Ego. If you think Jacobs beat... Let me block this clown. Hold on. Mike Jones. See, all y'all talking about dicks and shit. Look, this is how we do it. Block. I'm telling you, I'm not here to talk about dicks and shit like that. If that's y'all thing, cool. All that extra Elton John stuff y'all be doing, that Caitlyn. See, he just said it. He said there's levels to it. Jacobs UD. Luis Arias. Yeah, we had a little bit of issue with the connection. Luis Arias, 11-round TKO. Danny by KO. Cuba by KO. See, there are some people. I got Danny, my man Angel Santos. I got Danny on this one. Out here at the event. BK and Heavy tonight, people. Jacobs TKO. It's Jacobs stoppage. $5 super chat. Shout out to you, Randy. Experience matters. I'm rolling with Jacobs. Danny gonna hit that boy. Arias says you ain't choose me. I took it because nobody wanted to fight you. Damn, y'all got a different comment. Arias ain't no chump, but I got Jacob's decision. So that's my fight prediction, or fight breakdown. Hey, this connection is tripping, so I'm gonna get out of here before it messes up the stream. I can't read any comments or anything. It's saying the connection is bad. So I guess that's a show.